go. Alright, let me just turn my game sounds way down. Because last time there was an issue with the last recording where my game sounds were like 10 times louder than my actual voice, and I was talking during gameplay. But no, this is going to be a little more streamlined. I realize that people actually watch that video, so let me like try and put something together that really showcases, if you will, the explanation that I'm giving. So it still stays the same as far as it being um, defenses. How do I explain this? Okay, so I have level. Oh, I gotta clear out inventory. I have leveled since 70, right? Since that video I put out like a day ago, 24 hours ago, or whatnot. So, but my gear, like these gloves are level 76, so these have been swapped out. I've found better gloves since. These pants are still the same pants I came over with when I went from Nightmare into Torment. Same with these boots. These are boots that I found once I came over. The weapon I found once I came over. The offhand I found once I came over. And same with one of those rings. The other one. Um, but yeah, long of the short. Level 67 is when I started thinking about moving over. I didn't want to go early at 65. Um, but yeah, around 67 was when I started thinking about looking at gear that will be carrying me from Nightmare into Torment difficulty. And that's when I started thinking about resistances, when they actually really started to come into play. Um, the other thing too is these two vampiric powers are pretty much, these are for for the average guy coming up. These are the two. These are OP, so overpowered, and such a low activation cost. You can have those almost immediately when you can do vampiric powers. And these two alone will make it where if, um, as an example, I have a lot of attack speed based uh, deals. So my um, my basic ability, my spammable, my build's changed too. I'm back on my fire bullshit. But my basic ability, it's not there for damage. It's just there to get some cooldowns going, possibly. Um, but I can spam it, and with just my basic ability alone, I can keep my health up, and I can um, stay in that fortified. So it's pretty OP with just being able to spam a basic ability to keep alive. So what I'm gonna do instead of what part of me wants to do is ditch all of my Paragon points. Um, and showcase just a like ditch all my Paragon points and um, undo my vampiric powers because not everybody is going to have them unlocked. Um, this is the one that just attack when it kicks in, it kicks in. You feel it. I was running this attack speed one. Yeah, Moonrise. But it didn't. Mm, it did the attack speed thing, but it just wasn't about attack speed. And this is pretty much just about attack speed. So if it's gonna be uh, based off my movement speed, I want a lot of movement speed, and I want a lot of movement speed because I want to clear dungeons and things fast, right? Um, with the Paragon, there's a lot going on with Paragon that makes my character even stronger that I understand you won't have at level 60. So, in order for me to show that Paragon isn't, it's helpful, okay? Make no mistake about it. It it is helpful to have all of these um, active and running, right? Like I don't even have that one um, running, but just the to show you, have these nodes for the like I still have to level gems. There's a bunch of stuff wrong with my. I am not even close to being min-maxed because like this gem, for example, I have to level that so it gets the increased radius so I can get all the bonuses. You know. Um, does Paragon make or break the deal? No. And we'll wipe the slate clean. So there is no mistake about that. There is no Paragon in play. Um, let's look at my resistances without Paragon, just so you see how much of a difference it makes to not have uh, the resistances. Lightning is gonna hurt. I needed at least 50, um, but because of I'm not re-rolling my gear to, cause like there's fire on um, the boots, there's fire on the chest, there's fire on the helmet, and I can re-roll one of those fire stats uh, to cold or to um, lightning to get the lightning. But I get the lightning buff. I get the lightning boost from the Paragon. But I'll get it. It's a no Paragon, right? No Paragon. Just my abilities on my action bar and my gear. We'll go through the list here real quick. Um, so everybody can see just kind of a fair shake at what I have going on. But none of it really matters other than the max life, the armor, and the thing about armor is if you have 6k of armor at level 65, your look how much armor it takes to get from a level 81. So if you're 65 and you're fighting things that are 10 levels higher than you, you've got enough armor to still have the damage reduction at like 80, 85%. It's a ridiculous amount. But the movement speed, okay? What I've wound up doing is I finagled some stuff. I put a thing that gives me movement speed on my boots. and imprinted critical strikes movement speed on my Ami. Now, obviously I would like 24% here. You know, I'd like max rolls here, right? I got 15. I got max roll on the boots, but I got the lowest of lows on the Ami. So, but I went with the movement speed because again, with crackling with this is based off of attack speed and I'm pressing the wrong buttons. And with an attack speed based off movement speed, so going faster, killing faster, doing things faster, being faster, right? Um, there's builds for specifically using teleport and shit like that, but if you don't have that, then you don't have that. But everybody's got Ravenous, you know? Everybody can increase their attack speed based off movement speed there. Everybody's got Sanguine Brace. Everybody's got Undying. Everybody can run this. Everybody can have access to gear that gives them total armor and plus the resistances. There's no reason why whatever class, build, whatever you're running can do this. And no, let's look for a 25. Um, no potion, no paragon, just me, my skills, and my gear. And I'm not going to talk during the gameplay, unlike last time. But this is what being at a high armor, high resistance. Pay in particular attention to like the shadow bolts I eat to the face and the stuff I stand in and the fire and just all the elemental damage that would normally just poop on you. Just pay attention to what kind of elemental damage I run into. Oh, and I will be spamming like my basic attack just to show like stay in over heal.
I'm not ready yet. Out of mana once again.
Just easy. The whole premise of this build is just an average guy doing average things, enjoying his 1 or 2 hours a night when the family won't bother him to play the game. Just spam a basic attack. Let's just spam basic. Even without hitting anything, I can spam basic and top my life off, you know?
I'm not ready yet. I lack the needed mana.
not really under duress as far as needing to spam health pots and whatnot, just easy going time. Spamming a basic attack and getting off orbs. That's that regular attack speed. But yeah, I don't want to run a build that is like a non-basic, non-generator build where it's a little more try hard or a little more sweaty. You know, I just want to have a good time. I just want to enjoy my game. Standing in a shit ton of poison there.
I'm not ready yet.
Could be going faster with my gameplay, but I'm not,
Ready yet.
you know, I'm not trying to be all sweaty and try hard. I want the game to feel like a game, not just feel unnecessarily.
I lack the needed mana. We got separated. My friends were cut down. I won't last on my own.
You won't last, period. I can ramp it up, as you can see.
I'm not ready yet.
Alright, Captain. Come get slayed.
I lack the needed mana. I need time to prepare. I'm not ready yet.
longer to kill the captain in a conduit than it does in my build. I love it. Alright, so let's look for this locked door. Well, get my damage reduction from that going.
I need time to prepare.
Let's not stand in that. Now we can just... level some of these, lose control, flame feeder. Anyways. Warning, area item dropped. I have to go back and get something. Not happy about that. That's no bueno. Hopefully the audio is not completely drowned out by the game this time through. I didn't have maxed out resistances, but then I also didn't run into a lot of lightning. Thank God. Just got lucky. If this were the case, I would drink a lightning resistance elixir to compensate. See what I'm getting at? I'm still over 50 on the shadow or whatever, the other cold or whatever. Whichever one was the item dropped, it cannot be removed from the area. What was that item that cannot be removed from the area? So without a bunch of Paragon stuff, without all the damage from my Paragon, the damage resistances from my Paragon, the damage reduction buffs from my Paragon, rusted key.
I'm out of mana. I need time to prepare.
Something's not. Let's say something's not good here. Something's kicking my ass. Yeah, okay. Don't need the rusted key. Not a thing. I don't know. Maybe it goes to a chest somewhere inside the dungeon that I missed. Fuck, I don't care. The point I'm making is resistances above 50%, armor as close to. So by level 80, now that I'm at 80, I'm shooting for 10k armor, 5k health is my benchmarks. From at level 90, I'm shooting for like 12k to 15k armor, depending on um, what I need basically to get to the armor cap of like 1800, 1900 or whatever. And that's not including, so taking into account the what I need less of the bonus from like this and shit like that. Like minus this bonus out of that armor cap. So when I do hit armor cap, or when this kicks in, um, it puts me at armor cap. Because when I'm cruising through the content, I want to be at armor cap. But yeah, no Paragon. So it wasn't like I was playing like I'm sure that looking at my gear, like look at my stats, my int dropped to 192. You know, it wasn't at 400, right? My resistances, all of them dropped. Lightning needs to be bumped up to over 50. So you don't need, like I had 150, 140 in resistances to get me close to like the 85% threshold. You don't need that. It's not a necessity, but it is very nice. The single most important thing to take away from this is that the armor and resistances go hand in hand, because the armor only affects your physical damage resistance, and your resistances don't affect physical. So you've got to consider lightning, fire, poison, shadow, physical as a resistance type. We don't have the physical stat. We have that in the armor category. So it is just as important, if not slightly more, considering the amount of physical damage this game dishes out. It is more important than these resistances, but not by a landslide. We're talking a diesel length at most. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not, you don't want to have 6,000 armor and no resistances. You don't want to do that. But I think the last time my max life was like 4, it dropped a K and change. I was at like 54, 5,500, getting real close to that. Because my armor and life, I'm trying to keep at the same pace. 10k armor, 10k life, max resistances. Um, so 7.5k life, 10k armor, roughly 10 to 12k armor, 7.5k life, 7k life. Max resistances is what I'm shooting for 90 and above. Um, but at those statistical numbers, I need the um, the ancient legendaries or ancestral legendaries uh, that are um, at max level, pretty much. Like I need the higher to get to reach those benchmarks. So as your gear item increases, your benchmarks increase. But if you're on that lower end of the benchmarks, if you're still level 60, right, then you don't need to worry about anything other than getting as close to 5k on the armor benchmark as possible. Anything like everything else will fall into place if you do that. You want like 2500 life, 3000 life, and like 4500 armor, 5000 armor at like 60 to 70. And then you'll see once you hit 70 and you come into this torment, right, for the difficulty level, that's when you'll see your armor go from 4500 to 5500 and your max life go to 5500 because you'll have the gear that will stay in the same categories as the way these are set up as far as what's physically on the pieces. Like there's no plus to max life on my gear. There's no, you know, it doesn't. I've got some pieces that I was looking at that was, oh, I put them in the stash, that I'm looking at that's like resource cost reduction, resource generation on hit, things of that nature. But I'm still using literally when I was level 60, I'm still using the pretty much the exact same gear, but just with better. So yeah, this is resistances, right? For resistances, it's still the exact same gear from level 60. Uh, but now that instead of 30, this goes up to 47. These go up to 56, as to where these go up to 39 for the max statistical value I can get. That's it. That's all that's changed. This gear set will probably hold me over uh, into my 90s. This gear setup. When I start looking to speed clear T100s and I need to get off of defensive gear, I will slowly start weaning. Like that's when I can look at min-maxing like, okay, I need one max fire resistance on the helmet. I need one max cold resistance on the chest. I need one max lightning on the pants, one max poison on the boots, and one max shadow on the amulet. Or you see what I'm getting at? And then I can put gems, 3 gems in to supplement the others that I'm missing from Paragon levels. Because that's where a lot of the resistance and armor is going to come from, damage reduction, stuff like that. It's going to come from my Paragon levels and the Paragon board. And then once I've gotten higher Paragon, that's when I can start weaning myself off of the gear from being heavy. This gear is built on no Paragon, no real help from any place. The only thing you want is these two vampiric powers. That's it. If you can get a third, just simply because I can spam my basic attack so much faster, and because I can spam my basic attack faster, I can heal myself faster. And then when I kill something, I go into Fortify, gives me, the Fortify and the barriers and the damage reduction. I can keep Fortify up, a barrier up from my ice armor, damage reduction based off of being in barrier because of the barrier uptime, blah, 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 right? Like that's when all that stuff starts tying together. But at a lower level, none of that's going to tie together. You won't be able to create all of that synergy that you want with having unstoppable and barriers and damage reduction, while barriers are like, you can make all of that work with the uh, with what you imprint on your gear. You can start to piece and make those that you start piecemealing and that put that stuff together to make yourself even more tanky. Um, there's a lot that can be done with imprinting gear. Um, and all these lower level legendaries that you get, if you've been deconstructing them, you need to be uh, pulling their, oops, pulling their, you need to be stripping the gear and saving the, oops, holy why can't I remember what it's called? Oh my god, aspects. You need to be stripping all the gear and saving the aspects. To kind of give you an idea, I've got all these aspects, so I can flippy floppy stuff. Some give higher values depending on where you get them from. Um, but yeah, you need to be saving all these aspects to enchant new gear as you get, so you can upgrade your gear as you get it, basically. So you can slap new stuff on here. Now I'm at a point where I've got to do some farming in Helltide to get a crafting material to re-roll gear pieces that I found that are new gear. But yeah, save all your legendaries or strip down the aspects. Um, why'd the game just lag so hard just now? Ooh, yeah, this might be a disconnect. Armor, resistances. You don't need Paragon. I think my game's disconnecting, so we're gonna end it here. Oh, my game isn't disconnecting. I don't know. We're still gonna end it here.